a really good ban coming from Extremum as well is this Oracle, because not only is it an amazing pairing with the Death Prophet, it's also good versus Disruptor, but most importantly, it just crushes Bat in the lane and afterwards. So pretty good ban from them. I'm not sure if Voldemort is gonna go in the way of getting that different save for the Death Prophet, but it wouldn't be terrible for them. So far, what I've seen from them is they just go for your casual position 5s, some Lich or some Wyvern or something like that. Nothing really too fancy for y'all.
I think these bans as well, they show that the Batrider most likely is off lane. Okay. Unlike some teams that run it mid, I think when you are pretty much triple banning side lane counters to a Batrider, then yeah, it's going to be an off lane Batrider. So we're going to be seeing you still need to pick up a mid and a carry on the side of Extremum, because I don't think you can really run the tiny mid, especially into DP. It just gives the DP a free lane. Yep. There's the casual 5 pick. It's very strong, of course, against Batrider, very classic. You have to swap for the lasso, and it plays into just a strong lane. Okay, that's a...
And the Spectre.
Yeah, that's nice. So the issue with Spectre pick so far in this tournament, they haven't cushioned it with the aggression of 4 heroes. Therefore, the Spectre just feels like underwhelming. Like when you want to use your first one, you can't. When you are taking that first fight, your heroes are still farming. But when you have all these like skirmish heroes plus the Spectre, it's always enabling the Spectre to farm, fight if needed, and like you don't feel the pressure to need to join the fights because your team already have a lot of that early kind of damage that you need. So I like the way that they've drafted this Spectre for now. And it's also like a soft counter to Voldemort not being able to pick, for example, like a Drow. You know, if you go Drow Venge lane, Batrider, it's technically on paper it's good, but it's really hard to get on top of the Drow because you have Gust, move slows, Venge stun. Like it's a lot of stuff you have to deal with.
This hero is, however, really good for them as well. Yep. Now you bend out the Slark, you bend out the PL, right? But there is still Life Stealer in the pool that can rage off the sticky napalm charges, and because of that, he's a decent laner versus Vet. If they also have a vessel for him, you have the Clockwork, right? So he will be able to get in the fights fairly easily. And you're playing on a faster tempo than the Spectre is, so you should be able to take fights a little bit earlier. By the way, we should have known that this Tiny is position 4 100% because Velheor and G, they used to play for, what's it called? Old But Gold. Yep. They came 2nd or 3rd in one of the minors last year, and Velheor was a god on this Tiny, so very rarely would he have a bad game on the hero. So we could expect really good plays from him.
Yeah, and it's just one of those initiation tools for the Lifestealer, and I think this Lifestealer, if you just go for like Armlet Deso, you have that initiation from the Clockwork, the tower damage from the DP, it's like their ability to move to objectives. Like once they get like 1 tanking item on DP, 2 damage items on Lifestealer, they're not going to be afraid to just make moves together. It's just simply, are they going to be run down by a Batrider too early on? Like, of course not in lane, but once the Batrider leaves lane and starts running across the map into like the DP, stopping that first push, there could be a little bit of confusion there, but just the timing from Voldemort with 1 or 2 items is pretty scary against these heroes.
Now, Liz, you were saying before, right, about the Spectre kind of not having a lot of success so far from what we've seen in it. Do you think Extremum have got a rounded out draft for now to make it work and be one of the teams that can get it done outside of a pug?
So I'll pretty much repeat what T Governor said before, because he was on point. This lineup of Extremum can be very aggressive early on. Even these 3 heroes, like you see Disruptor, Tiny, and Bat, they have so much pick-off potential. They have so much active potential that they can play while Spectre is farming. And Spectre will always have that haunt to join these fights. And this is
nice.
This should be pretty good. You have the Clock plus the Darkseer. Your safe lane support with the Spectre is going to be a Disruptor. This should be very easy for the Clock and Darkseer to just own that lane. You could perhaps switch up the lanes a little bit, but yeah, we'll see. I think they should do really, really well on the offlane.
Yeah, a nice thing about this last pick from Extremum, they only had like 10 seconds going into the pick, and then they had only like 7-second reserve time. So this to them, like because of how late they were to the game, they didn't really have a lot of time to actually think about this pick, and it's now just gone, okay, Necro. And it's going to be, it's an okay Necro game, but I'm just looking at his Voldemort ability to play active, and you think of classic DP kind of combos, you have the Oracle and even Darkseer. It's okay, let's say she gets Glimpse, you now Surge, she's going to run away. Like it's so nice. I think the Voldemort, they have such a nice clean draft that as long as they don't fall victim to this super early aggression from Tiny plus Batrider, I think they have a pretty good shot at taking this game.
So we've gone from being very positive on Extremum to looking at this draft and thinking Voldy do have a chance to at least get one game here.
Yeah, they just have a really nice like tower taking, Roshan taking like objective based lineup, which is covered by Aura's initiation. Yeah, a nice little bit of everything. Extremum, their damage is on like their utility heroes, their supports, and then they wait a little bit longer for the damage from Necro and Spectre to really kick in. So I think this 20-minute timing from Voldemort could be so strong that they just sweep across the map if they're just playing at the correct pacing.
How do Extremum avoid that though?
Be the aggressors.
Yeah.
Force the TPs to the wrong place, own the map, and then starve them from early farm to bridge that gap of aggression. And then suddenly now Spectre's got 1 or 2 items, Necro's got his like pipe or whatever he needs, but not really a pipe this game, but you get the gist of it, right? Like an item.
You still got faith in Extremum, or has it changed for you as well, Liz?
No, I have faith in them. It's going to come down to early Haunt usages. I think it's going to be very important for the Spectre to use the Haunt in the right timings to stop the first few pushes from that Prophet. If that happens, they might be able to stall the game just long enough for the Spectre to come online. But definitely, Extremum, they have the ball right now. They're in full control when you look at these 2 drafts. And for the first 15 minutes, it's going to be Clock with Iron Shell and Surge running at you. And the next 15 minutes, it's going to be Nyx with Iron Shell and Surge running at you. So they're definitely going to be pressured on the side of Extremum.
Now, Tigaf, you'll have to tell me about like your tiers of where you put these teams, right? How close you think they are evenly matched and stuff. Where would you have put these 2?
On players, somewhat equal relative to their regions.
Okay.
But for this tournament, it's like Extremum is above Voldy or Voldemort. But after this draft, I'm a big Voldemort fan. Let's go Radix.
Of course you're going to back your boy.
Yeah, of course.
Let's get into the game. Let's get into the action. Game 1 between Voldy and Extremum is taking place now. And we've got Suns fan and Cinderin to bring you all the action. Guys, welcome to today. Let's get it on.
Hello, hello.
Oh, you spoke before me. I don't think that's ever happened before.
That is untrue. That is objectively untrue.
I literally don't know what to say. I am in shock right now. Every intro is okay, do your best intro. Give it to me.
Hello.
Thank you. That's why I get paid the big bucks, Cinderin. Anywho, Voldemort, also known as Voldy. You can also, I think Tom Riddle is also an acceptable pronunciation of this name. Against Extremum. Not to be confused with Extremium, which is close to Chromium, which I believe we can.
What are you talking about?
Or something to that effect. Cinderin, more importantly, the lineups.
Yeah. Let's talk about the game instead of whatever bullshit that was. I really like Extremum's lineup, and I agree with the panel. I also think they should probably be the better team on paper going into the series. So definitely going to be favoring them here. They had a little bit, like they said, they had 70 seconds less on the draft timer because of penalty, but I think this last pick, Necrophos, is actually really good this game. I don't think it hurt them very much that they ran so short on time. He has some very good matchup against Lifestealer. I'd say Necrophos is a good hero against Darkseer too. Whichever lane he faces here in the sides, he likes the matchup. He's good against Darkseer because he's one of the heroes that just out-sustains him anyway. And against Lifestealer can't really go on you because you just skill Ghost Shroud when you're level 3 or 4 or whatever. Or maybe you don't even need it. And their top lane as well shouldn't be pressured too hard. Like, Darkseer isn't really a lane dominator in the start, so Spectre is more than happy to face this early on. And finally, the mid lane, Batrider versus DP. Loving Batrider in that matchup too. I think they're off to a really good start in laning. Let's see how it goes. Sure.
Well, right now, Boogie and Nikwa, the Clockwork and Darkseer, respectively, are pushing in this lane to a high degree. We were just talking about this literally 30 minutes ago. Well, okay, that's an exaggeration. An hour and a half ago, the level 15 talent for Darkseer now. The Iron Shell provides 400 max HP. You were raving about how great of a talent this is.
I think that is really, really good, yeah. Oh, G top.
Enough to be nerfed, perhaps?
Take some good damage here. Is Nico actually going to commit here? No. I don't know. Like, let's see what the hero's win rate is and how big of an impact it ends up having when the patch develops a little bit longer, right? It's still in the infancy overall.
Bottom lane, toss onto YYY. He's actually going to get the courier. Yep, just that last right click, but it might cost him his life. He's going to pop the fairy fire. Valhure chasing now.
Everything.
Yeah, he popped a salve and a fairy fire and will live,
Wow.
but that's a lot of economic damage, Synderen. Necro
I
was
think
also
Velior
forced
could have
out.
tower dove that, got a toss off, got the kill, and survived, but playing it very safe here. Maybe the decision just, like, this isn't even worth it. Like, Venge used all of her regen. Now she has no presence in the lane. If I kill the courier now as Tiny, this Venge is useless in the lane and kind of has to suicide anyway. But we'll see.
That's a good point. Does not want to walk back. That is for sure. That is
Yeah.
a very long trip.
It's something that I feel like teams have done very little. I just think it's like instinct when you play. You know, when you can get a kill, you get it, right?
Yeah.
But there have been patches and times where letting the enemy survive is actually better. This
Oh,
case
he's gonna
is a
get
first
tossed
blood,
in,
so you take it.
And yeah, I was gonna say the first blood probably more important. The blocks are coming out though. Velior,
Another salve.
another salve. It's actually not gonna get canceled this time around though. Gonna continue to chase. Toss is up in a couple seconds, but he has no mana to speak of.
That's
This is zoning him out. More salves.
definitely doing economic damage here, but Lifestealer is getting the CS. Necro has 4, Lifestealer has 13.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that is
these
quite the discrepancy.
these early pressure plays from Extreme, if they don't give them gold, and Venge still keeps sending salves out, it's basically Necro losing gold and Venge losing gold. And you would take that any day of the week as Valdi.
For sure. I mean, on the other side, Darkseer is getting a ridiculous amount of farm. 24 and 0. I mean, that's no surprise considering it is the Darkseer, but at the same time, you
It's a
compare
very
the
easy lane
offlaners,
for
not even
him
close.
and an easy lane for Spectre, as weird as that sounds, for now. The lane will get hard for Spectre when they hit level 3s. Nikwa.
Yep, so-
Oh,
type of
it's
cogs
close.
with G. It's going to be
We'll
close.
get
The
it.
battery assault is enough to take him out, and Nikwa lives in addition. Pops a salve of his own now.
I think something really important when you're playing a hero like Disruptor against a lane like this and you don't have Glimpse, I think playing this part of the lane that he's playing out in the side next to the trees is a death zone. That's where Clockwork strikes. You want to play in the lane with Spectre or just pull.
By Jeeks. Going to get avalanche.
Good damage.
Pick a Tiny will get a salve for himself. I want to say like 5 or 6 salves have gone off so far this game. He's come back for
This
more as a
time,
mango. So
YYY
toss,
dies.
I don't know if he needs it. No, the right click is just
Now
barely
Regix
enough.
is in trouble too. They could mango toss here.
He's going for it. He's not quite in range. Yeah, into the trees he goes.
Steelers' base move speed is so good, man. 370 with just boots.
Yeah, honestly, when they made those changes to the hero, changing mostly the passive, I guess,
Oh, they still...
and the attack speed, just feels good to play him now.
That was very close.
And this is, I believe, the 4th salve popped in this bot lane from just the Radiant alone.
Yeah, they're definitely paying.
Top lane, more battery assault action going out here. G pops a salve of himself for himself.
It's a
Over
salve
1,000
game.
gold expended.
Nikwa
Yeah.
uses a salve.
Yeah, pretty crazy, man. Bottom lane toss. A lot of action. I mean, it makes sense. They're going to be doing this much in terms of trading damage and whatnot.
Yeah. You love to see aggressive lane play. It's very entertaining to watch.
After all this, like even talking about the CS, Necro and Nakes or Lifestealer are pretty much even now.
Yeah, Necro caught up fully. He was like 12 CS behind with only 6 or 7 running toward him. But that's where all
Top
of this
lane.
pressure comes into play, right?
Battery assault again. Nikwa, that is a level 2 battery assault, and that is more than enough to claim himself the disruptor. Bottom lane,
Going Afterlife.
Necro taking heavy damage. Gonna attempt to TP out and should be good to go.
Really good pressure, though.
TP's to the tier 1, so he has a salve coming, I'm sure.
You'd think so. Sitoi. Will they go? No, they're not going to go. Thought for a second Velior
Didn't
might
right
try for the
clicks.
avalanche toss onto Necro, and that could give them a kill, but I don't think the toss is in range. After all those million nerfs that spell got.
And the mana is actually quite low in this bot lane as well. So maybe not too concerned with the output there. Top lane, Darkseer is top of the net worth now, which no big surprise. We're seeing Wish pop the Exorcism in the mid lane. We haven't gotten a chance to talk about this lane. Batrider versus DP as a whole. 3 chart. Ooh, he's actually going to find the range on the lasso. That was very surprising. He's going to get the avalanche as well, but the Batrider dies first.
Velior helped the
Valior is
toss
like,
there.
okay. Like he did, didn't he?
Nice, solo XP for me.
Nice, bro.
I'm pretty sure that is a DP kill if he Ava tosses straight away. But maybe he was worried about messing up the toss or something, or thought they had him anyway, saving some mana.
Not sure.
But yeah, that's it's great for the Tiny, obviously. He got a lot of experience, but that's probably not the way that was supposed to go down.
Oh. Finally, the glimpse is leveled, so Nikwa cannot go in every single corner. He's found a lot of ways to just force this Disruptor back constantly in the top lane.
Yeah, you could argue that this is the kind of lane where as Disruptor you just accept defeat in the start and don't mech or take 2 points in Thunderstrike because like
Bottom lane. Magic Missile was there. The Avatos is more than enough to take out the Vengeful Spirit. Yeah, Necro's good to go. Rajix is pretty much ran out of steam here. Let's have 4 charges on his wand. Continue to take those right clicks, but again, very low on mana is the Extremum bottom lane right now. We're seeing a big stack being taken here by Boogie in the top lane. Nikwa forcing the Spectre out. We're actually going to see the wall come out as well into the vacuum. And this is going to be enough to take out the Spectre. Really big kill in this top lane.
Yeah. I feel like it has definitely cost them. The 2 Disruptor deaths have snowballed the Clockwork really hard in this lane. He's just doing super well for himself. Tranquil Boots, Windlace, Stick. Can play super aggressive. It's not like they were supposed to win that lane regardless with Spectre Disruptor. I just feel like if you skill 2 in Thunderstrike, it's because you think you can harass the enemy out of the lane, right? It's because you want to play aggressive. I don't really see them accomplishing that with a Spectre Disruptor lane here. So maybe an earlier glimpse point could have kept him alive twice, and who knows what state the lane would be in then.
Well, I mean, Nefrit does have the drum, so it's not doing too shabby overall.
He's okay. But
that's just okay for you? That feels decent. And he's going to get initiated on again. This will be absolutely disastrous. Hookshot will connect, and it's going to be close to pop the Fairy Fire, and still had the phase movement from it.
He's not out yet. Okay,
he's
now
not.
he is.
Boogie, actually, nice juke. All right, great juke. Ran
He ran
straight.
in a straight line, yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Nobody expects that. You know, that's the next level play. That's why I do so well in my pub, Syndra. Just walk in a straight line every time. Now he can go back to base and haunt in if he... oh, actually he stays. So I assume another salve is going to be coming out here shortly.
Nope, just the boots. Who's going to heal him? I mean, maybe the passive regen here is going to be enough over time, but yeah, it is dangerous hovering half health up here. Clockwork with Iron Shell is nasty.
Mid lane. 3,700 net worth for the DP versus the Batrider, who's at 3,300, so advantage DP for now, and might be even more as Nikwa has hookshot in 2 seconds. Not even gonna need it. Just gonna surge him in. Does not cog, obviously, he will go through that. Vacuum is there with the kinetic field to hold him in place. See if that'll be enough for them to actually get away here. Wish does have a Crypt Swarm, not enough to finish off Melujul.
They used wall, but not hookshot. Oh, they did use hookshot, but it was a bit late when he was disconnected from his teammates. I think they were certain they were going to get that kill without it. And they end up surviving, forcing wall, and just having so many heroes rotate. I think you're happy with that as Extremum there. Dodging a bullet.
Yeah.
Now, Nefrit got a little bit of space, but now he could be in trouble again. Nick was thinking about diving here.
It was kind of an interesting engagement because the hookshot had about 3 seconds on cooldown as they were initiating with the surge. So yeah, could have technically waited, but it was an interesting attempt.
Oh, this is a big stack from Melujul as well.
This is huge, and nobody's coming
big
remotely
catch
close.
up. But he didn't even get close to clearing it, so now he kind of has to do it again.
It'll be fine.
Did he just completely mistime that? I think to clear these 2 big stacks, you need 2 napalms or 3 on each camp before you start Firefly. He must have thought he could get it easier. There's obviously magic resist creep at play, so
It's always sad to see those.
uncharacteristic at this level of play to mess up stacks like that.
No, he's got
he
Firefly
is just
again,
Fireflying
so
straight away before he stacks the camp.
it works here though.
He should be fine. The camp was half HP and all the magic resist creeps are dead, so this time around it will be just fine.
That'll get him his boots of travel.
Ooh,
as his
Faded
tier 1
Brooch.
tower is taking heavy damage.
The god tier 1 item for Batrider. Gonna feel really good about
that is
that one.
good.
What do we have on the Radiant? They also have a Faded Brooch for DP, which is again amazing for that hero. So both teams getting the brooches on. Did anybody get a Talon?
I saw a Talon drop. I think it was for Extremum, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they have a Talon Spectre. Okay.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's arguably better for Lifestealer to have it because he has an easier time farming Ancients. But either way, we'd be happy to have it on any carry. Just flying out to him now.
So the tier 1 tower was taken out without any hold whatsoever. They're going to initiate onto Melujul. Vacuum back in to the wall. It actually uses lasso, but to little avail. And
This is a really good
likely to be a
move.
tier 1.
Yeah. Core kill plus tier 1 tower with Exorcism. That's about as much as you can ask for minute 11. Wish trying to get more here.
He is very fast with that surge. Oh,
good.
hook shot is going to connect, and the Exorcism is tearing through him like nothing else. All
Good
the while,
stuff from
Ryjek is
Voldy.
just taking
Really
down the
good.
tier 1.
Trying to deny their SG, didn't get it though. I love how aggressive Voldy are playing with their lineup. This is what you want to do when you have this Darkseer Clockwork combination and you're doing well in your laning stage, where I feel like Extreme and these lanes did not go as well as they should have, probably, especially mid. I don't... The tiny rotation that failed to kill DP, or well, did kill DP but killed her too late, has had a big impact on Batrider's game. And overall, yeah, I don't see Voldy slowing down anytime soon. I think you keep running at them and fighting them. Use your timing with the Ion Shell, put it on Clockwork, put it on yourself or on Lifestealer. Infest bombs, haven't really talked about those. They're also part of this game. There's tons of things they can do to keep up the pressure. Does Lifestealer, is he not going Armlet? He's
Doesn't
going...
look like it.
He's going Midas Deso, interesting.
Kind of an older school build.
It's pretty uncommon not to buy Armlet on this hero nowadays. Most people will
He's
get
going to be found out
Armlet.
by G. Stuck inside the kinetic field for now. Pops the cogs. Going to hook shot in, but he is surrounded by enemies for now. He's trying to take out the Disruptor while he can, but the Reaper Scythe...
He was really deep
him
on
a
his
hat.
own. Maybe trying to get some
he
information
had,
about stacks or whether they were farming over there, but... I mean, Spectre is showing top, so technically the only hero that could really be farming there would be Necrophos, and he's not going to farm the Ancients, so... yeah, don't know if there was anything to gain there, really.
Voldy's going to smoke up now. DP Exorcism in 12, Vacuum, and Wall obviously up at this point. It's been a while.
Oh, this could be a really good swap play for
Spectre
Sado if he
would
gets in
be a
time.
huge kill, but he sees him on the high ground, so he has time to react. And yeah, only level 1 swap ain't going to cut it in a situation like
He
that.
needed a surge on that Venge. Not sure what the holdup was.
True. I mean, Boogie right now still top of the net worth, so I'm sure he's fine to farm Cinderin. I mean, it's a Darkseer
Yeah,
after all. He loves it.
By all means, their game is going well. That was a failed move, but peace be with that. It's not the end of the world to not get anything there. They're not like desperate for plays, but you obviously do want to keep rolling with the ball when you have it like this, because something that will eventually happen in this game is that the Dire can get some really good itemization going. The Radiant lineup is very physical heavy when you come to the later portion of the mid game, where Lifestealer and DP start dealing all the damage. You have Ghost Shroud on Necro. You can buy Force Staff, which counters like 3 or 4 of their heroes. Lifestealer hates playing against Force Staff, so does Clockwork. Death Prophet hates it. You break off the Siphons. I pretty much bet that both Tiny and Bat will get Force Staff this game, and maybe even Disruptor. And I wouldn't even blame Necro if he got one too. Like, honestly, I could see them buying like 3 or 4 Force Staffs to really just mess with this Radiant side's strategy. But for now, they don't have those items, so you are, fair to say, way stronger as Radiant right now if you get the jump. And you definitely want to look for opportunities like they just did.
And Boogie right now has the Helm of the Dominator working towards a pipe for himself. What are your thoughts on, not like as a second or third item, but maybe a little bit later into the game for a Lifestealer, for example, Nullifier against Necro?
Yeah.
Do you
It will
consider
happen.
that like a very high value? Like that's a must-buy in a situation like this, right? At some point.
It's really good this game, for sure. He will be getting it as part of his build, but I think you don't get it until you have 2 to 3 other items. You don't go like Deso Nullifier. I think you leave yourself way too vulnerable then.
For the Spectre, on the other hand, you're going up against a wall, so Fusel, Radiance, things like that, you probably are at least you're incentivized from buying.
Hook
He's
shot
going
top.
for a Manta right now after the drums. Hook shot
This
into
is
the
a top
cog.
kill.
TP support. He is getting quite low. He's still stunned, and it's going to be enough to take him out. Static Storm's not going to catch anybody, but here comes the lasso initiation, showing off the boost of travel speed here. Not enough to get a kill as of yet. Still stuck near this wall. And Wish just going completely ham with his Lifestealer inside him. The Infest out. Nefrit is in a lot of trouble now, and the Crypt Swarm's going to be enough to finish him off in turn. So it's a 2-for-1. All they've lost is the Darkseer. as of right now. Wish getting very low. I bet he wish he could consume his Exorcism Spirits immediately. He's gonna pop the Cyclone for now. Another right click. It's actually a bait as they kill off the Bat Rider, and some way, somehow, Wish revives the fight and TP's back to base.
Yeah, that was a really close fight. The crucial thing here is that Necro dies before he gets off anything except mech. If he would get Ghost Shroud off and a heal and a 1 there, that fight is a total disaster. So it's really on the knife's edge. When you jump Necro next to his tower, you need to get it done, and they did. They also did a very good job kind of mitigating the Static Storm. Lifestealer got out of it during Rage. The other people immediately backed off and didn't get caught in the field. So once again, good work from Valdi here. That looked scary.
Yeah.
It was a pretty high-risk play, but it pays off big time as they get a couple big kills and extra bounties.
Yeah, bottom lane in the meantime, Vengeful Spirit caught off guard. Taken out with ease. How broken would that be to be able to cancel your ult on Exorcism to consume your spirits?
That would
See
be
a glimpse.
great.
Oh, hook shot. A little bit late there.
Nice try.
Think it would be
from
broken?
Necro. Broken is a big word, because, I mean, you sacrifice all your damage, too, right? You need to pull it back in.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I think...
A cool quality of life change at some point if he ever
Suppose.
needs a little, or she ever needs a little bit of a tweak.
Yeah.
I've been sitting on that one for years, by the way, sir. I got a lot of them just lined up. You know? I'm sure you'll love every single one
Yeah,
of them.
unfortunately,
Deso,
the suggestions you need to make to get them in the game is stuff like Pocket Ricky. So,
yeah, or I want to bite people to turn them into wolves. That's in the game somehow. Nikwa glimpsed again. Hookshot still down for another 18 seconds. Rajix, I was saying, 50 gold away from finishing his Deso. Next level, obviously, for not only just damage in fights, but just for damage onto the towers. At least they're pushing quite a bit. Velhur on the Tiny right now, working towards... I mean, we didn't really discuss this, but support Tiny. The panel kind of talked about it a bit. This is what I was expecting more than the mid-Tiny we've been seeing, just because of the changes to his tree grab, although he doesn't even have tree grab here.
yeah.
Right? So much for how this hero used to be played when he was exactly the same.
We did have a phase, I want to say, where support Tiny would go 1-1-1 and then max Avatos, but then it became more popular to go 4-4-0. Just didn't feel like the tree grab value point for laning paid off enough.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point, because it did get... The tree grab did get nerfed like several times back in the day, so... Yeah, free Roche looks like no one's even remotely close for Extremum. With the Tiny closing in on Blink Dagger.
Definitely putting that Deso to good use. That's one big advantage of buying that over the Armlet here. It's the ability to take Roche with the DD rune. Might even see an Infest play here, to be honest. Wouldn't mind.
Still has DD. Pretty much still half duration on it, so this would be a good spot to open up as Velhur, oh boy, runs into a lot of heroes. A bit of a slow reaction there from Voldy, but they'll find the kill nonetheless.
And this should also be a mid-tier too. They have everything to work with. Aegis, DPLT, just gonna pop it immediately here.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he had
That's a little surprising.
he was on last second of Arcane Rune, I think.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Nikwa, basically just trading hookshot for glimpse over, which is kind of what you have to do, I guess, as a clockwork. Okay. Force Staff is enough to counter this hero, but glimpse on top of it, come on, man. Rough. But still doing a good job overall.
Speaking of Force Staff, only Disruptor is working on one right now. He's closing in. He needs the recipe. Bat Rider has opted for BKB, which is coming up. Also a very big item, of course, against the Radiant side. We talked about how they have a lot of physical damage, but with his high move speed, he can avoid the Lifestealer component and only have to really deal with the ghosts. He's 500 MS when he's in full maxed out Firefly. So that BKB, lots of freedom.
After that BKB, what do you expect him to go? Does he go for a blink at any point, or is it just straight to a Force Staff?
I mean, I still think Force Staff is good, but if you go BKB here, maybe you're approaching something like a Shiva's Guard instead, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna just tank up and survive the physical damage and stay in the fight instead of hit and run style. I think both options are viable. Probably at this point, the Shiva is better. Yeah, that would be my guess. Is the Shiva here?
Has the negative health regeneration aspect to it. And I love how they're turning all the frost stuff into negative health regeneration or minus amp. I don't even know what the actual term is. I forget it every time. Whatever it is, I like it.
Healing regeneration reduction?
Regeneration reduction. Yeah.
I'm not sure that's what it's called. Let me check.
We'll just call it R2D2 to make it easy for ourselves here. The tier 2 tower bot will be taken out again with very little defense. In fact, Spearum have 1 tower this game.
Did you just call them Experum?
Extreme. I was thinking Experium.
Sounds like
for some
some
reason,
sort
which
of
is
furniture you buy in IKEA.
Experium, I think, it's for credit in the U.S. It's one of the 3 major creditors. I guess I have a lot on my mind these days, Synderen.
Yeah. Well,
they're trying to find
if Experium are looking for any Dota team to sponsor, I think there's a great market segment here in the CIS team Extremum.
Jesus, so, man,
good overlap.
It's really rough. Extremum. These team names, I swear. God almighty. Spectre has enough now for his Manta style, so that is going to be a big pickup.
Yeah. Relatively low kill game considering how much happened in the laning stage. Like the teams were at each other's throats in the first 5 minutes, and then it's kind of just been chill game.
That's kind of odd. It's because of glimpses. We're going to see the Avatos combo to start this off, the Vengeful Spirit. Seeing the Exorcism pop as well. Spectre already used the Haunt, is actually swapped back in. We're able to find the Vengeful Spirit first in this engagement. Boogie and company attempting to run away now. Wish's Exorcism still doing a ridiculous amount of damage, and yeah, Necro is going to be the first to fall for Extrema. Are they going to find potentially more? As Wish continuing the pressure onto Belgior, attempting to TP out in the face of danger, and he will be successful. So it's a 2-for-1, and it looks like that's going to break things up, unless no, TP out as well.
I'm not sure this was deliberate from Voldy, but the biggest thing about this whole fight was that it started right when Batrider got Firefly on cooldown. That is the nightmare situation. He had a 10-second BKB, and he feels like any play he makes in that fight just sucks, right? He can walk in and swap someone, then or lasso someone, then they're going to get swapped. He can pop his BKB, and all he can use it for is put sticky napalm on people and flame break them. If he had Firefly ready and that fight happened again, they would have won it, like hands down. They were lacking that damage there. So whether that was the call from Voldy or not, it worked out really well for them to come in at that exact moment. I think they did have a pre-placed ward, so it might have been the call. Firefly's ending. Core Bat without Firefly is a really weak hero. It's so important to have it for these key fights.
You know what I love about Nikwa's build right now, Synderen?
He's going
He
Ags.
has the Spirit Vessel, obviously, but yeah, Ags next. Like, he keeps getting hookshot into Glimpse, and what's the counter to that? Well, refresh your freaking abilities and go in again. That sounds awesome. Can't wait. Of course, he gets stunned shortly after, but hey, no one will be watching at that point. Your job will be done, my friend.
Yeah.
Oh, the swap onto Melodul. The lasso to follow into his base.
Yeah, that did not work out well at all.
Quite ambitious there for Triple Y.
Swapped him onto the high ground. I think he lost vision after swapping him, and then he just got lassoed from the high ground. Nobody was in range there. That was awkward.
DD bottled right here for Rajix. It's actually still using the Ironwood tree.
Yeah, that's surprising, right? I
They don't really have that much.
You would probably still use Fangs over that.
Yeah, Fangs is decent.
Or Faded
For
Brooch.
sure.
Like 20 move speed is really good on this hero. You just want to be fast. Even
he
amping
has
it up now
SNY
with the SNY.
Exactly.
Yeah. I would give him Brooch over Tree any day. There's no, like, they don't have any synergy with making trees, so...
A little odd.
Yeah.
Maybe he just likes to plant happy. I mean, I understand it. Plant a happy tree every now and then. It makes you happy. It gives you that extra boost of confidence and positivity going forward, you know?
Yeah,
Maybe he's just
that's
in a
gotta be
very
it.
toxic... Maybe his team's super toxic. Placing a tree just lowers the toxicity level overall.
Oh, top lane,
No.
this could be a problem. Disruptor's gonna mega die here. Unless they
And
do try to go
Nikwa.
on the Spectre.
Gonna walk in, glimpse out, but the Infest is already there inside the cogs. Spectre taking a lot of damage, able to Manta out. Is gonna
Nice
TP
illusion.
though. Okay. Blocking out the hook shot with the illusion. Nice play.
Nico couldn't go for it. I think that was this is such a difficult call to make in the moment. If Radjix hits that illusion one time, I think he clears the path, but then he's also scared of blocking the hook himself. Just can't really fault him too much for that. That was nicely done by Nefrit to stay alive.
Radjix with that DD, just want to do a little bit of damage to that tower while he could. But we'll back up for now, as Infest is still on cooldown for another 35 seconds, and he needs to use his Midas. For God's sake, find a creep! God, use it! Oh, thank God. He actually waited for the last creep in the camp, Synderen. Unacceptable.
I always find it funny how triggered people get when Midas isn't used. Like, when you actually break it down, it matters so little. But people are like, oh my god, you need 100% efficiency. If you waste even 5 seconds on your rotation, it's a disaster. It was like 10 gold. You know?
I was mocking people that find that to be triggering.
It's just, it's funny.
You understand the irony, right? Just to be clear. I'm not that person.
Iron is good, yes.
Not in Valorant. Iron is the worst rating, actually. But that's another game, so we won't talk about it. Boogie did finish the pipe. We'll be going for a Blink Dagger next. Looks like Force will be next for the Batrider, by the way, so we can look forward to that in the near future. The Disruptor finished his. And Disruptor's going to be going for an Ags himself as well, but obviously a very, very far away from that.
So that is the triple force. Necro opted for one after Greaves. Disruptor has his, and Batrider is about 500 away. Wonder if Tiny's going to get a fourth one here at his 1200 gold saved up. I still think it's good. Like, it's pretty rare that, especially after the nerfs to Force Staff, that I feel like you find a game where you want to have like 4 of them in the same team and it feels good. But I honestly wouldn't. I wouldn't feel bad about having 4 here. It's just insane, this game.
I want to talk about an update from one of the last patches to Clockwork's talents, the 15 talent plus 1 power cogs hit to kill. Do you think that's good?
Pretty rarely, to be honest. The thing that makes the old power cogs had 3 hits on level 3 and 4, right?
Right.
And the reason it was so good back then was when you got it in the game, right? And the fact that you didn't get it instead of something else. You didn't have to take it over another talent. But now you're sacrificing 24 battery assault damage, which can easily be the difference between a kill or not. Helps you farm, helps you push waves. If you do end up having to show sometimes.
We're going to have to put that on hold center. We have a fight coming in. The Roach fight, the nice initiation from the Batrider into the Static Storm. The Lifestealer gets swapped out. There's a huge back wall. Holy Jesus! As the first to fall is the Vengeful Spirit. Batrider on the high ground now, not doing much damage now that he's out of the fight. Necro on the run. Wish is so freaking fast, it is ridiculous. Gets glimpsed away. Somehow this fight has only 1 death thus far. The chase continues, the Avalanche holding them in place. Necrophos looks to be on their sights. The toss into safety, beautifully done from Belhur, might cost him his life. As the Surge comes in for the Lifesteal, and the Bash will finish him off.
This is still really good for Extreme, when Exorcism
2 for 1.
ends, they can turn and fight
Fly
this.
back onto the Tiny. Yeah, I mean, Death Prophet becomes pretty worthless after the Exorcism's off. Batrider, Force Staff being used to full effect here. Radjix just cannot find a clear kill. Very, very good job of kiting him this fight. The glimpse back onto Wish, blinks out immediately. Man, this fight's crazy. And Roach is still there for the picking. Might be a little bit too difficult to take as of now. It's 5v4. The nice Ava toss into the enemy team. That is a Vengeful Spirit. Was that a dieback? I'm not sure, actually. But either way, Kinetic Field, Force Staff. Necro being safe for now. Gonna pop that Ghost Shroud. Radjix again just being kited so hard.
They're getting their money's worth with these Force Staffs.
Huge glimpse. Back to base you go, Nikwa. Magnum Scepter will not save you there. And Lasso is up again. That's how long this fight has been going on. Avalanche, in addition, Lifestealer is going to get Reaper Sight. Beautifully done. The initiation, the second initiation of this fight, indeed. Boogie glimpse back after the Surge. And this looks to be yet another kill going the way of Extremum, not to be confused with the insurance company or whoever the hell I was thinking of. It's now the Roach fight will go to Extremum in all likelihood.
Man, it's so cool to see how much the outlook of the fights change with this itemization, right? I feel like that fight is truly an itemization win. Just having they got jumped and they saved everybody for so long, specifically because they had that number of force steps. I think even with one less, that would have been disastrous for them, but they had what they needed.
Why? Trying to sacrifice his life for the betterment of society, it seems. But he will drop, and the Aegis will be intact for
used
Nefrit.
Exorcism again.
Oh, wow, you're
This
right.
one's going to be absolutely useless. The amount of power play that Extremum have right now is actually kind of crazy. They've just pulled back a 7k gold deficit. They now have Aegis on Spectre, and they have an Exorcism on cooldown. Basically feels like they're well in the lead of the game all of a sudden after Valdi had the lead the whole game. Look at the win expectancy graph. Oh my goodness.
Explain it to me. My hotkey never works for that.
They had like 85 to 90% for 10 minutes, and now it's dipping to 50-50.
I'm not saying this graph is the holy grail, by the way, but they were definitely in a very good position.
question
and they have
Gaben?
lost their lead.
Yeah, but we saw the Force Staffs come into play. Triple Force Staff, the kiting of Lifestealer. I mean, that feels the worst as a Lifestealer. I mean, Lifestealer, Ursa are the two heroes, and Sven, I guess, that you think of when Force Staffs and just kiting in general come into play.
And that's really why this nullifier is so important, right? I think maybe this is a replay Radix looks back on, and he's like, okay, I probably shouldn't have bought this Basher now, or... Because I'm okay with him getting another build-up item after the Deso in this SNY. I think that's all right. But going Basher over Nullifier in a game where the real problem the whole time is going to be Force Staff and Ghost Shroud, I don't agree with the Basher.
This could be a really big fight for Extreme, and knowing that Exorcism is
smoke.
down. Yeah, they broke the smoke, though.
He could find anything as long as he knows where Venge is.
Their openings. Not finding anything as of yet, so back to the items we go. Batrider, we didn't mention, did have the Blink Dagger in that last fight, I believe. So very mobile. Is actually going for an Octarine Core neck, so no Shivas, Cinderin. Does that surprise you? Does that mean Necro will be going Shivas?
Well,
No,
now that he
doesn't
bought
look like
Force
it.
Staff, maybe he doesn't need the Shiva, right? It was one or the other. Probably you could see a Shiva on Necro. He's going to go for the Lotus Orb first off, so...
We have a fourth Force Staff, by the way.
Yep.
Belhur just picked one up.
I love
So
it, man.
Spectre,
I love
time
it.
to go Hurricane Pike on Spectre, right? Definitely the play. Well, Aghanim Scepter now on Wish, so you'll be seeing those little exorcism ghosts all the time.
He still doesn't have a BKB, though. He's very fragile if they do get on top of him without the swap. So it's really important that Sedoy stays at the right range. Oh, they get the lasso.
Yeah, lasso onto the Lifestealer, into the Static Storm, and into the Reaper's Sight. Not quite enough to get the kill, but they do find it in the end. No buyback for him. Vengeful Spirit does buy back into the game, though. Tiny's going to be the only casualties thus far for Extremum. Exorcism doing heavy damage. The hook's not going to keep him in place. Glimpse not enough. Oh, he actually heals by quite a large degree. Force Staff's under the high ground. He's going to be able to get out. No. Force, or the Yules comes into play. That will be the death of him. Who did this favor? It was a 2 for 2. I guess it would favor Extremum because Venge did buy back into the game. And they lost their carry.
It's pretty even. Considering how that fight started, I think that outcome was pretty good for Valdi, to be honest. They got their Lifestealer killed as the first target of the fight, but Death Prophet was just able to completely free fight. I don't think... Like, I know what they were trying to do here, because they haunted in and immediately jumped the Venge with Spectre to prevent Venge from saving against the Haunt, which is a very nice, high-skill coordinated play. I just don't know if Lifestealer is the right target for this lasso. Like, maybe he didn't have other options at the time, but... You want to get DP in this game. DP is the one holding everything together for the Radiant in fights. DP dying, they have way too big damage problems. Because Lifestealer can't stay on top of them against 4 Force Staffs.
Yeah, exactly.
DP has Blink Dagger and Spider Legs. That's why DP is managing to do stuff in these fights. It's a great neutral item to have for him in this game. Very
I mean, this is going to be a bit of an exaggeration, but it feels like a slight waste of getting 4 Force Staffs if you already initiate on Lifestealer and delete him. Obviously, they're still useful, but the main reason you're buying them is for, I mean, the cogs, I guess, but also Lifestealer.
And it's also just, you look at the DP's build, right? Like, usually around this time in the game, DP is very tanky. He's got 13 armor. It's nothing in this patch to have 13 armor minute 34. Spectre getting on top of him and hitting him for like 2 seconds with Diffusal and his illusion from Haunt plus Manta. This DP dies really quick.
So would you have not bought the Ags first in that case? Shiva's before that, or
I don't know.
what itemization?
I can't really fault his build. I think he needs to do this because he has to deal the damage, right? And it's such a big DPS increase to get eggs on the hero. But it always will leave you a little bit vulnerable to physical damage, right? Like he has his Yule and he has a hood. But the Spectre has reached a point now where Spectre's damage is 200 per hit with really high attack speed and a basher. So any hard lockdown onto this DP should allow them to hit for like 3 to 4 seconds, and that gets a kill here. But yeah.
Nikwa getting very close to the Clockwork Aghanim Scepter, which excites me to a very high degree, Cinderman. Spectre, which you did mention, but we haven't really gone over his items. Drums, Manta, Basher, Diffusal, and close to finishing Abyssal Blade, if he doesn't care about buyback, which I assume he does.
Depends. He has Aegis for how long still?
For now.
1 minute? They should actually take a fight right now. They have
he has
Haunt
Quickening
ready.
Charm
They have
as well.
Reaper in 25. They have both Cheese and Aegis still. Not using this is pretty
Dire are scanning.
wasteful, I would say. You have a good minute right now. DP Exorcism is on cooldown. This is like the perfect time to strike Quickstreamer. Do they not have a smoke? They have a smoke and backpack on Disruptor. This is absolutely go time.
Does the Quickening Charm on Spectre surprise you at all, considering there's a Necro in the game
What are his other
who only
options?
has a People's Gift?
Yeah, I would take Orb of Destruction over that.
It's a little odd.
Yeah, it is. Oh, wait, never mind. I had the wrong team selected. Oh, he has no good options, actually. He doesn't
Aegis
want the
is gone
Craggy
now.
Coat because he wants his attack speed. He doesn't want Quiver because it's Quiver. And Greater Fairy Fire, I guess, has been used. If there were charges left on the Fairy, he would carry that one.
Oh, wow. You're right. It's been used completely. What the hell?
It's just his.
Wow.
This is just his best option. It's this or Aquila. Pretty close, I guess. The CDR on this is really useful for his items, right? Gets CDR on Manta.
Yeah.
Gets CDR on obviously Haunt and Dagger. It's decent.
Uh-oh. We're going to see the Bat Rider get initiated on. The cogs keep him in place. Beautiful layering of
Used
stuns.
Exo for it.
Yeah, he uses Exorcism. And they're not going to find anything here. Extreme, I'm sure they saw that. So probably
Yeah.
just TP back to base and just wait it out. Very strange.
And this once again gives them a big moment of opportunity when Batrider spawns to go for a smoke, but Valdir are definitely going to try to get out of this what they can. Exorcism already running out. I don't think the siege is going to happen.
Yeah. About to end in about 2 seconds now. Very strange there. We didn't mention Necro has cheese, so very, very hard to kill. Basically have to completely stun lock him, which is going to be pretty difficult with 4/4 staffs to begin with. So
Yeah, for sure. But they're still, Valdi got back a little bit of a grip on the game, I would say. You know, now they outlasted the Aegis. There is still the cheese available on Necro, but you have way better map control than you did 2 minutes ago. You have aggressive ward in the enemy jungle top. You have a good river rune as well, or river ward to see the rune. So you definitely have the opportunity to take initiative. And as long as Extremum aren't doing it whenever Exorcism is down, I mean, good for Valdi, right? They just keep taking the initiative on their own moves. They will now finish they'll finish the Nullifier in just about a moment here on Lifestealer. 300 gold to go.
oh, that's nice.
Midas off cooldown. Actually getting an Illusionist cape on him. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's not really a great option for them for Illusionist cape. On the other side,
Nice.
Spectre would love to have one of those.
Yeah.
But I don't believe they have any tier 4 items yet. Yeah, they haven't found any. See that Roche is still down at the moment. I would say the items for Voldy pretty freaking good. Aside from the Prince's Knife, Flicker on DP, Minotaur Horn on Clockwork. Those two in particular, very, very strong. Oh, Witless Shaco though. You keep this on Necro? Can you afford the minus mana? We'll see. He's gonna have 1,000, a little bit over 1,000 mana here. So tanky now. Jesus. 1,200 HP extra.
I think you can get away with this when you have as much regen as he does. He regenerates about like 17 mana per second or something. All right, he regenerates 8. It was a good
EP.
guess.
Good
He
attempt. He's
No, he has-
infested.
he
They're
has
going to
a lot
jump
of
with the Shivas. There's the infest bomb into the back wall, and Tiny looks to be dead right off the bat. Don't believe they'll be able to get the Necro in quick succession, though. He still has that cheese available if he really wants to expend it. They've only there. He's going to use it under his tier 3 tower, but he is melting like none other. Buyback onto the Tiny. Belhior doing his best to defend his teammates here. The nice initiation on the Boogie, but was it? Like Batrider's going to take the brunt of the damage, though, and finally Spectre comes into the picture. The buyback onto the Batrider, they're going to force that into safety. Exorcism doing a ridiculous amount of damage to this tier 3 tower. There's the Static Storm Kinetic Field combo very late into the fight, mind you. So getting very little value overall. Exorcism is now down. This might mean that Voldy need to back up, but they got their money's worth there. Very good fight. These vac walls have been pretty damn good.
Yeah, for sure. We get to see the value of Flicker here as well. It's not just that you get the 40 move speed on DP, who's already fast as none other. You also have the Dispel against Sticky Napalm. It's actually really nice. He started getting triple stacked in that base fight, and he just pops Flicker like nothing happened.
Yeah, Flicker feels might be a little too strong, honestly. Like if you're going
it's
against
a strange
the,
item because it has like games where you're like, yeah.
Well, it's 40
And then
move
there's-
speed though. Like that's always going to be useful.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely good. But like you compare it to other tier 4 items, right? Like Illusionist Cave, for example, which gives 14 agi strength and an illusion that you can split push with, that you can trick people with. An item that gives Avatar. You know, like it's. But I would definitely say Flicker is probably better than people give it credit for, because a lot of people considered it clearly the worst at some point.
Oh, there's the Illusionist Cape though, and on the other side, that's a very good item for Spectre. Oh, a little bit too late, but the initiation now is on the Vengeful Spirit. Want to get rid of that save once and for all. Looks like they will do so, and has no buyback to work with. See the Haunt being popped, but not really able
Can't
to
chase.
find anybody. Does he still
No
have
lasso,
a Spell Prism?
Tiny
Oh,
was too far.
God, that's good. Oh, but you already have the Witless Shaco. Oh no.
Who are you going to put it on? Probably Batrider. Yeah.
It feels so bad.
Oh, he is playing Shiva. Okay. Oh, what a roller coaster this game has been. Now it's looking really good for Voldy again. This Aegis Cheese, what was the third item?
Sorry, what?
Refresher
Aegis
Shard on
Cheese.
DP. It was the third.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't even
So
notice
Refresher Shard in DP's backpack here. Double ult going in.
that. Indeed. There's the Avatos onto Rajix. You're seeing the Static Storm. That is the Aghanim Scepter, so you cannot activate items, but unfortunately for him, Lifestealer's there. The back wall coming into play. Gets a couple of illusions, and Death Prophet jumps into the base with the Lifestealer inside, and the Batrider will die despite having DKB activated. There's the Abyssal Blade being shown up by Nefrit, but more in a defensive measure. He runs back to base, as Wish is just constantly surged in these fights. Exorcism still going, and like you said, Refresher Shard in play. Actually pops it now, or for the items, I suppose, until this Exorcism finally wears off. This will minimum be 1 Rax, as Batrider's dead for 90 seconds with no buyback at all. Hook shot in. Nikwa force staffs himself out. Still has his overclock ability from his Aghanim Scepter available. I don't think we've seen it as of yet. He's going to get glimpsed back into the fray. Avatos again, a toss away from the Exorcism, is now Extremum on the defensive, trying to get out of the way, but the Cogs come into play again, and Spectre has to buy back immediately. Necro in a lot of trouble now. Gonna get saved a little bit here by the Abyssal Blade again from Nefrit. This fight has been going on for so long that it somehow is up again. Ridiculous. Nico now taking the brunt of the damage. Static Storm into the glimpse. This could be their chance to kill the Death Prophet. Reaper's Sight is not quite enough, but the right clicks are. And now Voldy, despite getting the racks, are on the back foot. Extremum need to get more than this, and it needs to be more than this Venge. But I believe that is all they're going to get.
They had to pay so much for this. Yeah, you got a couple kills on the way out, but you paid your Spectre buyback, you paid a lane of barracks. And what did you get? You got 2 supports and a DP. It's definitely not enough here for them, but the good news is Disruptor stayed alive through the whole thing and now has a dagger, so has an easier time setting up the Ag Static Storm. I think the initial attempt they had outside the base there, Extreme, was really good. He just got it off just a tiny bit too late, so Lifestealer had Rage off. Or that initial jump could have been amazing for them. But, yeah, if you're Voldy, you're probably overall pretty happy with that. You can keep pushing the lanes. You can wait until EP is alive once again. You still have Aegis on Lifestealer for how long? 2 minutes? You have a cheese lying in the Roche pit if anybody ever wants to go and get that one.
Really? What the hell? Necro! Somebody tell Necro. All chat, Synderen. Do it for me.
I mean, it was Radiant's cheese. They just didn't take it. They took Aegis and Refresher Shard.
Radiant structures.
Nobody was like, Roche usually, if there's a Refresher Shard, guys.
Maybe they're lactose intolerant. I can totally understand that point of view. But yeah.
Playing vegan Dota.
Jumping in is the Bat Rider, but Rajix with the Abyssal Blade into the hook shot and overclock hook shot as well. That's an easy kill. And Extreme will just have to back up. Afterlife on the Necro, by the way, has been forced to use Flicker because of the Nullifier. So we're seeing counters from the jungle, Synderen.
Oh, Spectre can't die here.
Yeah, this would be huge.
This is real bad.
Uses
the
his
Glim.
haunt. Looks like he's in the river
They can
now. He's
swap
going to get magic missile. They know it's him. Nikwa and company are going to tear him to shreds. But here comes Valhyr. Nice force staff. All right, he's staying alive for now. Boogie with the vacuum, but another toss. Looks like it was on the ground because of that talent he picked up. Is he going to live? Looks like the glimpse will keep him safe. For now, at the very least. But Tiny will sacrifice his life as the exorcism is now popped. So they might have more casualties on top of this, despite Spectre living. We'll TP back to base, and we'll have to wait for the heals to come through. Wish, like the Disruptor will fall up. Heal comes in, though, and he barely lives. G. Sliver of HP, but they're going to lose a second set of racks. The glimpse, but PKB on Boogie looks like that cancels it completely.
They had to use everything to keep Spectre alive. And that means, yeah, you keep your buyback Spectre alive, but you lose everything else. Tiny no buyback, Fat no buyback here. Very easily clean this up, and more than likely Voldy could end the game here. Let's see if they choose to do it or play it safe. They can wait for the next Exorcism if they feel like there's any risk here. They're obviously completely fine on time, and yeah, they're gonna back off.
They are in. Are you okay there, buddy? They are in the driver's seat for now, and probably for the foreseeable future. Things are going quite well, to say the least. Are they actually going to wait for this next Roshan?
They can choose to. They could also just wait for next Exorcism. Like, realistically, this one is in the bag, but you don't need to take the risk. It's all about just, you know, basically patience at this point. You have full map control. You're pushing the waves with a Darkseer, Ion Shell creep. Very easily dealing with this bottom wave cut. Even if it dies here. That's some decent goal for Disruptor, I guess. He's not going to get it though, is he? Yeah, last hit.
He has a Spell Prism right now. I mean, is there any avenue? The problem is they expended so much to defend, and they just don't have that much anymore. Spectre.
I feel like they've had an avenue the whole time, but the fights have just been... Voldy have been doing a better job at getting the initiation, basically. Like, still these force staffs have been in crazy value, but especially... I feel like especially the Necrophos has struggled to really get a foothold in fights. He gets bullied out way too quickly by his Clockwork with Ion Shell on, by just the DP running at him straight up.
Double ult is also a problem, Synderen. The Refresher Shard came into play. That was pretty huge.
Absolutely, yeah.
Boogie on the Darkseer has a Refresher himself as well in that last fight. And we talked about Clockwork's Ags is basically a refresher in a lot of ways. So it's been a very difficult... Like, these fights have been going on for quite a while. They extend quite a bit. When you can use all your abilities twice, usually gives you an advantage. Indeed. All right, let's see what they can do with this smoke.
They don't have a single ward for the smoke play. It's so hard for them to get information.
Here the Infest inside of Wish.
DP is so fast.
Almost 5,000 HP and 550 move speed right now. Beautiful. As the Blink Shiva's available, Hookshot will start things off onto the Tiny. Infest Bomb onto Nefrit, who pops the Manta style. Actually keeps himself pretty safe here. Vacuum Wall onto a couple of heroes. Looks like the Batarang and Necro are going to fall pretty much immediately, and that should be the end fight in favor of Voldemort. In this chapter, Voldemort prevails. Harry Potter gets wrecked. This is a parallel universe, Cinderin. But they will take this one in a very, very exciting game. This was
Harry
one of the best.
Extremum Potter.
Yes.
Yes. It's unknown middle name.
Voldemort victory. It looks really good actually when that pops up on the screen. It's pretty funny.